Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand more information about your favorite pop culture icons, video games, comic books, and movies. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today, we're going to be covering our continued coverage of the Deadpool run written by Daniel Way. In this particular run, Deadpool decided that he's bored being immortal, and he's gone to some extreme measures to kind of cure that problem. When we last left off with him, he had been jailed up in England, and the psychiatrist basically fell in love with him, but as he put it, she's way too ugly to date. His words, not mine. Now we're going to see the aftermath of that with the psychiatrist chasing him down and him trying to figure out what to do about this while maybe figuring out that he shouldn't be in London. 2 days later, after Deadpool's great escape, he sits in a dark alleyway eating a can of beans trying to figure out what to do next. If he was to leave the country, the police would just go after him. If he stays, then it means that he's going to have to stay in England. And that totally sucks. The other problem is Ella Whitby, the doctor that confessed her love to him. Though he made it pretty clear with a sweet roundhouse kick to her face that he wasn't interested, he then sighs, stating that he just needs to forget about that chick. She's way too crazy even for him. There's no telling what a crazy person is gonna do. And then a voice tells him that she can. Hello, lover. Deadpool looks up to see Ella standing there. And as he gets up, she stops him, telling him, it's okay. She brought him a new costume to wear. Deadpool says, look, I'm pretty sure you got the wrong idea about this whole thing. There isn't anything between us. It's just me, like it's just you. She tells him that she gets it. She's not his kind of girl. He's attracted to the daring and dangerous types. But soon he'll realize just how daring she can be. She drops her trench coat, showing off a rather revealing and unflattering Deadpool costume underneath. Deadpool screams, oh my God, my eyes! And Ella says that she is quite dangerous too. She's killed people with poison, strangulation, and a knife, even a gun. She takes out a pistol and begins recklessly firing it at Deadpool. Before she can realize it, Deadpool snatches the gun out of her hands and holds it to the back of her head. She shudders, telling him, yes, take her, make her one of his conquests. Deadpool shouts, ducking, yuck! And he pistol whips Ella and begins to run away. A short while later, Ella begins to wake back up and she rubs her head seeing Deadpool gone. But he left her something, his can of beans. So like any sane person, she takes the can and licks it. The next morning, Deadpool wakes up in an alleyway to the gentle nibbles of maggots on his face, and he finally tells himself, okay, it's time to leave this place. After getting dressed in his costume, he runs out into the street and punches a man yelling, you just got jacked, dingus! Deadpool style. Except the car he stole was extremely tiny because it's in England, and it doesn't go very fast because it's in England, which, believe it or not, has a purpose. A few moments later, up on the highway, Deadpool puts through the traffic jam yelling, this is genius! However, it doesn't take long for the cops to spot him. He begins to yell, oh ish, one time's trying to gaffle me. He gets out of the car telling the cops to pump the brakes. There's one thing that he has that British cops don't. Guns! Just then, a large military helicopter flies over his head shouting, drop the tool, mate! As the helicopter's gun turns to Deadpool, he tells it, okay, I surrender. The British agents begin to run out, taking Deadpool down, and Deadpool asks, why are there, these guys are the Queen's Secret Service, which means she's close by. One of the agents radios that they have the subject in custody. Go ahead and bring the van around. As the agent looks back, though, he sees all of his men tied up. Before the agent can even figure out what's going on, Deadpool pistol whips him in the head, taking his radio, telling everyone, please be advised, the armed gunman has escaped and is on the loose. The men watching over the Queen's carriage all begin getting in it, and the Queen asks what's even happening out there. The agent leading the men tells her that he begs her pardon, but there's been an incident. A man with a gun is close by. As the last agent climbs in, Deadpool, wearing one of the agent's suits, says, actually he has 4 guns? Check it out. He knocks all the men out, and the Queen says that she would like to ask, does he plan on killing them? Deadpool tells her, nope, I'm just hitching a ride. Have you seen the traffic out there? It's bonkers. The Queen says, okay, so we're hostages? And Deadpool says, I'm not quite sure yet. And the Queen says that he doesn't seem very prepared for this kind of a situation. Deadpool yells back at her, look, I'm working on it, okay? No more questions. And since you're so old and wise, what would you do if you were, me? The Queen says that she would surrender immediately since they have no idea who he even is. And Deadpool tells her, hang on, I know why you don't know me yet. He puts on his mask and simply says, boom. Queen asks if he's recently escaped from a mental institution, and Deadpool smiles, stating, you do know me. One of the agents begins to wake up, and after cracking him in the head again with a pistol, Deadpool says, look, I'm just trying to get away from this chick who's obsessed with me. She claims that she's killed people, and she's really, really crazy. The Queen asks, would he happen to be talking about Dr. Whitby? If what he says is true, she'll look into the matter personally. Deadpool then says, the worst part is she's doing it dressed as me, like she's trying to be me. It's kind of weird and gross. A few moments later, gunfire can be heard from the coach, and the outside agents quickly surround the area. Suddenly, the door flies open and Deadpool stumbles out, and the agents begin to beat him down. One of the agents shouts to check on the Queen, and from the other side, the Queen runs out. As the agents go look inside of the carriage, they find the Queen still there, though, dressed up as one of the agents. When the agent looks back to the Queen, he's punched out. Deadpool, now wearing the Queen's dress and crown, says, "It's just such a good idea. I'm now the Queen of England!" Just then, the mailman shouts, and Deadpool points his gun at him, asking, "You wouldn't happen to have any mail for Dr. Ella Whitby, would you, by any chance?" Later that night, Deadpool stands out in the street looking at the letter that he stole from the mailman, stating that this place can't tell if she's... Just then, Ella walks out of her building dressed for work at 9 p.m. Deadpool waits until she leaves and says, "All right, time to be a dick. As in detective." He climbs in through the side of the building and into Ella's apartment and quickly notices that Ella is a total slob, probably just trying to be like him. He then tells himself, need to focus. I'm here to try and find evidence that Ella is a maniac psycho killer. As he searches, he begins to smell a very particularly bad odor. He heads over to the kitchen. He looks in the refrigerator, and as it opens up, he says, "Oh, it's just a severed head. Oh, it's my severed head. Wait, that's not just my head. There are several body parts in here. She's got enough to make an entire body. Why would she have my body parts?" Deadpool then barfs in his mask. He rips the mask off, shouting, "So uncool!" And as he washes his mask in the sink, he then sees a picture of Warden Eames with the information of his daily schedule, specifically the 10 p.m. part. Then it finally hits Deadpool. He looks at the time showing 9:29 and says that Ella isn't going to work. She's going to, air quote, work. She's got to kill the warden. He begins to think for a moment, and then he says, "Wait, is that such a bad thing? No, wait, actually, yes it is. If she's got to do it as me, like defending her or some crap, there's no way that I would do that." He puts his mask back on, and then he sighs, stating that it still smells like puke. Gross. He runs out of the building trying to take out a new mask, asking himself how Ella could try to kill Eames like he would. Would she stuff his mouth with TNT, bash him in the head with a mallet, shoot him out of a cannon? He then stops and says, "That's it! I would teabag him! First I'd replace all of Eames' tea bags with ammonium nitrate, and then I'd turn his gas stove on so that his kettle goes off and his whole house goes boom! That's how the English people make tea, right? Whatever." Deadpool then sneaks up to Eames' house, and when he looks in the window, he sees Ella sitting there with a gun in her hand. He leans back, stating that she's probably going to give him some long speech about why she's doing this. That is so lame! A few moments later, Eames' door opens, and Ella says, "Why, hello. You have no idea how long she's been waiting for this." Deadpool walks in telling her, "You're right, I have no idea, and I really don't give a flying duck. He's here because he can't stomach the idea of her killing in his name. That isn't what he does, and when he does it with a lot more style." Ella then says that she's so glad that he came here. She's hoping that they could do this together. And Deadpool then asks, "What, killing the warden? That ain't gonna happen. I warned him off, and I maybe hit him a few extra times because of the whole solitary thing." She leans in, stating of course he did, but that's not what she's talking about. Suddenly, the kettle on the stove goes off and the entire building explodes. Deadpool gets back up, stating, "That would have been really impressive because that is something I would have done. Except for the part of dying and all. That wouldn't have happened. Guess there's only one thing left to do." He heads back to Ella's apartment to throw out his body parts that Ella has been saving. After tossing the last bag out the window, he says, "That might be why I hated Ella so much. She was trying to be me." Just then, the door to the apartment opens up and a horribly burned Ella shambles in holding a gun, asking, "Why?" Deadpool looks at her. "It's not you. It's me. You may love me, but I love someone else." Ella asks Deadpool, "Who?" And Deadpool says, "It doesn't matter who. All that matters is that it's not you." She lowers the gun, stating, "She knows, but it will be." She takes the gun, putting the barrel into her mouth. Deadpool runs trying to stop her, but before he can make it, Ella pulls the trigger. Blood splatters onto his mask, and he watches as her body falls to the ground. And then he tells himself, "Okay, now it's time to leave England." However, the next morning in the trash, the garbage man notices something in the dumpster, moving. The man calls his partner over to have a look at it, and then he says, "Blimey, is that bloody thing alive?" The voice then calls out, "Where are we? Why are you guys talking like pirates?" And there you have it. Deadpool is now heading back home. It is time to get back on track. And what is he going to fight next? Why, an evil version of himself. That's right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because the next chapter of this story is Deadpool versus Deadpool. Now, don't forget, we also run Twitch. Twitch.tv/EligibleMonster, where we bring you about 5 to 6 different podcasts every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday at about 2 p.m. Eastern. You can come on over there and join us, or you can find them on our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, which is how we get through really problematic times here on YouTube. Thank you guys for your support and hope to see you there.